Well, it's the birthday of your favorite channel, ANN7, today. The channel completes 4 successful, glorious years, bringing you news first, fast and live. And joining us in studio now is musician Mercy Phakela. Good afternoon to you, Mercy. Thank you for joining us here on ANN7.
Hi, Abby. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. So we're celebrating 4 years of ANN7 today. It's been an amazing journey, a roller coaster ride, if you can say that. How have you seen the channel growing over the last 4 years?
Oh, well, what I could say is that I believe that you give us quality news, and we really thank you, for opening channels for most of the South African artists, to appear in some of your programs. And may you have quality news all the time, because we really need that. And we need to dig deep to our history, history of the past that would be an education for the future generation.
Mercy, thank you very much for the well wishes. Like we were talking, it's been a crazy journey. Like I said, there's been ups, there's been downs. There's been a lot of criticism of the channel as well as celebration over the last 4 years. How have you seen the channel growing from strength to strength and trying to overcome the challenges that the channel has had as a viewer?
That is why I am saying to you, my angel, it's appalling, for the fact that you have been giving us quality news on top of that. And when you talk about the Guptas, to me, and there is nothing wrong, in climbing the ladder if you have the money to climb that ladder, because most of the people, they climb the ladder and kick it. But if you climb the ladder and share what you have, then it's all good for me. And I wish Guptas could invest in the creative arts industry of South Africa, because it's very rich and it is ignored by so many people.
Are you satisfied with the amount of platforms the channel has given to artists like yourself, established artists and artists coming up as well? Just talk me through a little bit of your journey with the channel.
Oh, well, there isn't much for us. For our era. But, if you put an artist there that has a value, then I don't have a problem, And that is why I'm saying if they can invest in us, the era of the 80s, which was the era when things were turning, and we need that platform as artists of the 80s, so that we can be able to tell our history, our stories, and share our experiences with the young ones.
And how do you think that can be bettered? We heard about the 90% local content rule at the SABC. There was a lot of controversy around it as well. Just talk me through artists' reaction to that whole controversy around the 90% local music, and whether you are satisfied with how far that issue has been dealt with.
Oh, well, artists are very upset. I'm one of those artists that are upset, because government take decisions for us. Party politicians, they take decisions for us as musicians. And on the other hand, they forget one thing, that the struggle is ours. We have our own politics in the music industry that we need to deal with. First and foremost, 90% of our music being played in our country, there is nothing wrong with that. It's only fair for us to be recognized as business people, as well as much as they recognize the stakeholders. The stakeholders are not supposed to decide for us, this is what we have to be played, this is how we have to be played in our own mother country, in our motherland. Meanwhile, Americans play their own music, and they give us, they just embrace us. They don't even give us 10% of airtime in their countries.
See, it is very unfortunate, and it's been a struggle over the last couple of years for musicians. If you could speak to, a young South African who aspires to be in the industry, who aspires to be a musician, you've experienced this sort of industry. What would you tell that young South African? Would you encourage them to become a musician and get involved in that industry?
I have discouraged so many.
You have?
Because there is not yet a transformation. A performer has no right of his work. We have our God-given talents that we recorded whilst we were young. And the ownership of that work is owned by white Americans, you know. So we need to reclaim our heritage first, and then we can bring in our kids so that they can earn quality money, you know. And on the other hand, how are we going to have the legacy if we don't have the rights of our music, or 50% of our music rights?
We hear you.
You
It
know?
is very unfortunate. Hopefully, going forward, things will change for musicians, and our South African and African musicians will have ownership of their music and rights to that. But Mercy, thank you very much for joining us in studio today.